In 2022, we saw Banyana-Banyana win and lift the AFCON title for the first time. And then, of course, that ticket was booked to Australia and New Zealand, where they played in the Women's World Cup and making history, reaching the round of 16 in that tournament. And someone that was instrumental is, of course, Andile Dlamini. Her story continues as we do part 2 of the story of Andile Dlamini. It's Wiser, and we continue our conversation with Andile Dlamini. So last week, in case you missed it, we started with her early childhood life and how she got into the beautiful game. So now we're moving on to the professional setup and I suppose the national setup. As you get into the national teams, last week you told us it was early days and you were still learning your ropes as a new goalkeeper coming from the junior ranks.
Being a national team player comes with a lot of demands. It comes with a lot of responsibility. You have to then change from being a player that's like playing for a team to a player that plays for the nation. Now you don't only think of the name behind your jersey, but you think of the nation. But I think for me, it was the most beautiful journey, because I think I still say I'm the most blessed footballer, because I shared dressing rooms with Portia Modise, Andile Dlamini, Thokozile Mdaweni, Nyandeni, at their peak. And Nyandeni was still playing in Russia. Nothando Vilakazi, like so many beautiful players. I was guided by Mamelodi Sundowns, coached by Coach Joseph Mkonza.
Yep.
I learned so much, and besides learning so much, I was also introduced to people behind the scenes who actually made my life even more easier. Because when you go to an interview, you can say whatever when you're a young one. But I was guided by Abu Mahlomula Mrake, and he sat me down and said, okay, this is how it goes at Banyana. There was still Nomsa in the setup of Banyana, and she helped me so much in coming down and making sure that I become the player that I am. So I'm really blessed, and I feel like being where I am today, it was not a fluke, but it was prepared by a lot of people around me, not only myself. You don't go up alone. There's someone that opens the door for you. And I'm grateful that Coach Joseph Mkonza opened the door for me at Banyana-Banyana. And I'll forever be grateful for him and Coach Brian for converting me into a goalkeeper. And all the goalkeeper coaches I've worked with, Coach Tsepo at Sundowns, that made sure that I became the goalkeeper that I am today.
So what would you identify as some of the challenges from your early days and now switching to the national setup at the highest level?
The challenges, obviously, right now I'm a Puma athlete and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the recognition from Puma. The challenges would be soccer boots, undergarments, bras. Women go through a lot in sports, and especially when it comes to bras.
Yeah.
They don't have the right fit. A small is a small. Our boobs are not the same. And I struggled with that. Remember, I don't come from a well-off family. And when I played for Banyana, the first time I played, my mom and dad were divorced, but my mom, I had my stepdad, my late stepdad, rotating. And when they met, we were struggling a little bit, and they tried by all means to get me the right things, but they couldn't. And I went to Banyana-Banyana, stepped in that room in Durban, sharing with someone I don't know. I'm uncomfortable to take off my T-shirt. I'm waiting for her to step out so that I can actually change, or just go to the bathroom, hoping that she won't open the bathroom and see me changing. And those were the most difficult times, things that people don't actually know. I embrace those moments, because today when I look at myself and I look at the blessings that God poured in my life, and I'm like, yo, yes, I never thought this was going to happen, but I was hoping that this happens. And today this is happening. That's why it's easy for me to actually give back. It's easy for me to run a competition without even asking anybody about it and say, hey, Mina, Manje, I'm going to give away these boots because I don't need them. I have like a lot, you know. Let's say Puma gives me a specific amount of boots this month, and then maybe after 3 months or 4 months I get another pair of boots. The boots that I haven't used, let's say I use 4 boots or 3 boots in the amount of time, the 2 boots that are left, I give it away because that I know what it does. It changes someone's life. It changed my life when Itumeleng Khune gave me that pair of glove. It made me more happier and more enthusiast, and I was like more driven, you know, and I know what it will do for that young girl or young boy. Yeah. And I have a lot of girls that I take care of and a lot of boys that I take care of on social media, because I was once that kid on social media that DM'd my role model to ask for something. So I know how it feels like. But I can't answer to everybody.
Yep, that's true.
I can't answer to everybody, but that's actually changed my life. Man, I used to walk to, drive to interviews with my last money, you know, just to say, I didn't know what I was doing at that time, but I was very young. When I get there and I'm like, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Sasso, you know. I'd like to thank our sponsor for giving women an opportunity to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and check where Sasso is today and how many opportunities it has created for young girls. And I like to applaud them because they are part of the journey that made me and gave me confidence, and I'm not the only one that can attest to this. A lot of professional footballers that also went overseas and came back, Tembi Khatane, Refile Jane, like a lot of them, Linda, we all played Sasso, and it laid a huge platform, and it gave Banyana-Banyana players confidence, and I think they've helped our association get Banyana-Banyana where it is.
And we hope that more sponsors we've been singing this song, and I hope we'll come to a point where we sing it less because like the Springboks, for example, their debate is, where are we going to put this sponsor? Because we've got so much already. One day, hopefully soon, we'll be having the same conversation about Banyana-Banyana. We come back again with more with Andile after the break. Welcome back to Women in Sport Africa. Myself, Naomi, so just having a nice conversation with Andile Dlamini. So Andile, take me to that day when the coach of Banyana-Banyana at the time says, today I am handing you your debut. You are taking over and will be the goalkeeper for the national team.
I remember every minute of it because I was very, very nervous. We were playing against Botswana in Old Peter Mokaba Stadium, 2011 that was. And I'm like, yo, why me, Manje? Like now. I was in camp like 2 camps away, and now I have to play against Botswana. You know, remember, I'm still a bit shaky because I'm still learning, you know, to be a goalkeeper. I just recently became a goalkeeper. And I played against Botswana. I did quite well. Even though we lost 1-0 at that time, we missed a lot of chances. But Coach Skesha ran. I will never forget that moment. He ran and said, "Thank you, Sisi. You played so well. Ungawari. You didn't do so well because you lost, because of that 1 goal. But you did so well. I'll show you how many saves you made." And I was extremely happy. There was a player called Sisebo. I used to play with her in the same team, Sundowns. And she also made me feel so comfortable because she was a senior player also. She told me how great I was, and that for me changed my life. That for me changed my life. Even sometimes you have those players that like push you to that limit and say, because I couldn't kick the ball so far. I had those players. I heard so many remarks in the game, but I'm glad that happened, because if it didn't happen, I promise you, I wouldn't be so driven, and I wouldn't want to do so well in my life and in my career. And I'm grateful for them, because today we all sing together. And even if they're not playing anymore, some of them, we all sit together and say, this was a beautiful moment. And, sometimes you must take the pressure off the game as your learnings, because you don't understand what they are going through. They want to perform to the best of their abilities, and maybe you are delaying them at that time. And I took it like that. And I'm still taking it like that even today, that if you don't understand me, it's okay. That's you. I understand myself, and I understand what I bring. And what you think of me is your problem. I think of myself as this person, and I must sit in the mirror before I leave for anything and say, Dlamini, you are great, you are doing well, and you will obviously get 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 that you want. You call those things into your life, and they will eventually happen.
Speaking of Banyana-Banyana and some of the challenging times, I don't think the public is aware. They're aware that there are challenges, but I don't think people are aware of how bad it tends to get, and how we know that it's very different with Bafana. And it's primarily because of the mother body that is SAFA, that is running the Federation of Football in the country. And as a journalist, I am able to say that, because we have to be critical of these bodies so that we do get better, so that we do get a time where someone can be a Banyana-Banyana player, a Bafana player, and there's less challenges, there's less conversations about bonuses, there's less conversations about the team wasn't able to travel for these reasons. There are conversations that we're not necessarily having where the mental health of Banyana-Banyana players are concerned, the shortcomings that they tend to get as a team that represents the nation. Do you feel that maybe sometimes we could get better because we work so hard? We know, as journalists, we see you, we follow you, and we know how hard you put in for the jersey.
I think a lot, and especially when I'm alone, I think of things that can help us achieve everything that we want to achieve. Yes, we shout sponsorship, but a lot of things start with everyone in South Africa. Before we even blame myself, blame the association, blame the sponsors, it just starts with everyone. Are we united so much that we want to see change for Banyana-Banyana? Are we shouting enough for Banyana-Banyana, or are we only shouting when we see Banyana-Banyana lift a trophy? Journalists and broadcasts, and they play a huge part in drawing Banyana-Banyana as the heroes, as this beautiful team set up that can win at any given moment. We play a huge role when it comes to that. How we sell Banyana-Banyana, how we actually go, a sponsor, you can't say sponsorship. You can't every interview and say that. Sponsorship, let's do something. Let's all stand together as a nation and say, we are changing Banyana-Banyana right now. Yes, we can do so much, but I think with more sponsors, because if you look at Bafana has a lot of sponsors, eh?
Yeah.
And Banyana-Banyana is getting there. We have Shield, we have, we have Shield, we have Sasso. There's one that I'm forgetting, and it's unfair.
We'll remember it.
Yeah.
We'll remember
but that on its own, for me, it shows a little bit of progress, but it can be a huge progress if we can actually all stand together and shout positivity for Banyana and be there for each other. And also, I'd like to say this, is honorable, given an opportunity. I think there's Andile Dlamini, and there's another person. besides Andile Dlamini, we play the same position. I think it's very important that we celebrate each other and we celebrate each other's strengths, and as a public we protect the squad generally, because sponsors tend to run away when they see negativity more than positivity. Let's be there for each other. Let's go to that child and actually get to know her, tell a beautiful story about them. A sponsor gets attracted to that. They want to be around you. They want to uplift Banyana-Banyana. So the more positive we are, the better. That's why you'll never ever, even a single day, hear me speak negativity, because the only thing I want to see is your Asanda coming into the national team with no worries, but her soccer boots, her sponsored soccer boots and everything else, and just her performing to the best of her abilities and getting what she deserves, because I know that the way that I'm paving is a positive one, that one day we will not shout, but they will just come.
And that is the beautiful story so far. We're still here, don't worry. We still have more opportunities to ask more questions to Andile Dlamini, particularly the successes that have come with Banyana-Banyana and with Mamelodi Sundowns Ladies. So before we let her go, we want to ask her those questions about those milestone moments that took her from a girl from Tembisa all the way to the global stage. Coming up on Wiser after the break. We've reached the tail end of the episode, but not before celebrating the wins that have come with Banyana-Banyana, but with Andile Dlamini as well. I want to take you to that moment when you lifted a coveted title yourself, the CAF Award, CAF Goalkeeper of the Year. How did that moment feel?
That was a beautiful moment for me, my teammates, my country. Something that I've actually longed for was winning WAFCON. And winning WAFCON comes with these benefits. I didn't do that alone. I did that with God, with my guardian angels, Dlamini, Nkosi. I did that with my family. I did that with my teammates who were there for me all the time. Even when I had like the weakest moments on the field that people don't see, but we see it, And when I'm saying, oh, I'm cramping, and they're like, you can do this, drink more water, stretch, And in that extra time, I remember that moment is a very, it's so funny, because I remember asking Refilwe, so Refilwe is our captain, so Refilwe is, I'm like, Fifi, and like, Refilwe, how many minutes?
It felt like long.
And I think because Fifi was so frustrated, she said, 3, Because I'm busy yelling, Refilwe, how many minutes did the referee add? 3 minutes. I'm like, okay. Then I was patient for 3 minutes. And it wasn't 3 minutes.
It was longer.
It was longer than 3 minutes. I'm like, hey, Refilwe, ask her. And Nuku started cramping. I'm like, hey, Nuku, stand up. We can't change right now. How you're going to put other kids under pressure.
Yeah.
It's dying moments of the game. And another kid needs to be warm, and you're busy cramping here, and it's only 2 minutes left
to go.
And when we lifted the trophy, it showed how united we were, how positive we were in that camp throughout COVID. Players getting COVID, when one was replaced, one would come in and perform to the best of their abilities. I was scared, trust me, because I was coming back from COVID myself. So I didn't want to contract COVID at all. Yeah, I didn't want that moment, because I had heart infusion. I struggled a little bit with my COVID situation. So being there was like, oh, can I not? Can I not? Can I not?
Stay away.
Yeah, and the doctor at that time was Dr. Mukoka, and he kept on praying and saying, no, you're not going to get. No, you're not going to get. And I think for me, it was the strongest and the most toughest moment of my whole entire career. And winning that showed how God is so amazing and how my guardian angels work super and extra hard to protect myself. How women's football has taken a huge step because no one has ever won it in South Africa. We were the first generation, but someone paved the way for us, and they strived and wanted to win this. They couldn't, but we were the chosen generation to win it.
And of course, that title came with a trip to Australia and New Zealand, where again, Banyana-Banyana made history getting into the round of 16. First time it's done ever by any national team.
A beautiful team, you know, determined girls who want to see their lives change at all costs, because we don't have a professional league. And I'm still praying for that one day, to see a professional league and see players getting professional contracts, just like we are at Mamelodi Sundowns, because I believe we, if not the only team that has professional contracts and can make a living out of the contracts that we have. Although I feel like we can still, you know, go higher and higher and reach a level which the guys are at. A determined group that wants to see change, you can see it through their results, through how they hold each other's backs and how we hold each other accountable. And for me, I believe that even just saying all the best makes a huge difference. That team is a beautiful team that has individuals that want to not only change their lives, but also change where they come from. And we made history again. And I think we're still going to make more history. And Banyana is going to be the best of the best in the world, given an opportunity all the time. Because we have fighters, we have believers. I'm one of them, and I'll never stop believing, and I'll never stop fighting.
And truly you have fought. I mean, to get to the maiden title in 2022 and that FIFA World Cup in 23 in Australia and New Zealand. So my last question to you is, nizobanika abanye abantwana break ku-Hollywood Bets, title just get one nje ukuthi ayishem nabo bayilifte, or Mamelodi Sundowns Banyana Bastyle will continue to have this style.
No one is entitled to a win. This I've learned from a very special coach. Said no one is entitled to a win. You gotta work hard for your wins. And I believe that no one wants to step down and not want to win. When it's our time, it's our time. It doesn't matter how long, and you can't be tired because we are winning all the time. You just have to clap up until your time comes. And I believe that there's a structure at Mamelodi Sundowns, and that structure is working for us. And I believe that we need to actually make noise, because we are contracted footballers. And so everyone needs to understand the fact that they have a contract and they're getting money. So you need to work hard there so that other teams can believe that, okay, if we put all our trust and everything in these are the results. So I don't know.
Style is quick.
We'll forever fight to become the best all the time, because you want to be the best in Africa.
That is the story of Andile Dlamini, Mzansi's #1 Banyana-Banyana goalkeeper, and of course Banyana-Bastyle Mamelodi Sundowns, who are the reigning champions for many seasons in the Hollywood Bet Super League. But Andile, the work that you do, you continue to do. We didn't even speak about your work as an analyst on TV. It means you must come back for part 3. Because Andile is also part of the SABC Sport family, where she analyzes games, perhaps maybe a future where she is going after playing football. And that's where we're going to wrap it up. It's Women in Sport Africa. Let's do it again next week.